Welcome to Force Pro Sports Laserforce podcast with your host, Mr. Mischief.
Welcome, Laserforce players, to Force Pro Sports. Laser tag is the greatest sport of the modern era. Our dream is to see a Laserforce tournament with players paid professionally, teams sponsored, and lives transformed through our incredible supportive community. My codename is Mr. Mischief. I'm a laser tag sports analyst who aims to make laser tag presentable and exciting for all. Today, I am joined by Lizzy Lizard from Loveland, Colorado. She boasts 1,226 missions, and she is the president of the Laser Tag and Pancakes Club at the University of Colorado Boulder. Welcome in, Liz.
Hello, hello.
We've got some extra guests on today. Who's your extra guest?
Oh, my extra guest is my cat. This is Buddy.
Hey, Buddy.
He's really enjoying getting all the attention.
What is Buddy's favorite class to play?
He's definitely a little scoot guy. He's just around.
Excellent. I am pet sitting right now for my brother-in-law. This is Admiral. His favorite class is Medic. He loves to scurry about and hide from any kind of danger, so that's his favorite thing. I'm going to put him over here because he's actively pooping on me. Thanks for coming on, Liz. How you doing?
Doing good. I went rock climbing with my grandfathers this morning, so I am feeling actually awake.
Interesting. Are you an avid mountain climber?
Not avid. I do live in Boulder, so I do it a good amount of the time, I would say.
A little Boulder.
I think my grandfather is the person I aspire to be because he was like 70-something, and he went, I'm going to learn how to climb rocks. So that's what he's doing.
Starting at 70. Yeah, it's hard. It takes a lot of upper body strength. We're going to jump right in, Liz, with a quick question of the day for you. Sponsored by RelicsMerch.com. Visit Relics Merch today to buy some awesome Laserforce swag. The Babe asks, is there a game mode that you would add to Laserforce, and what would it be?
Ooh. I don't know. That's a good question. I think it could be really fun to have one. Maybe sort of like a variation of, I guess, like tag. But maybe have it be like combined with other aspects. I think could be fun with like a limited shots or like a limited play area, but the play area is changing because I know we're working on like proximity things. You must be within this proximity of the it person to try and tag them. So you kind of eliminate the sniping from upstairs onto all the downstairs players. Adds a little more chaos to the mix.
That would be cool. It would be like we're using some of the new features that Laserforce is coming out with.
I think it would also be fun to have a team game where you can't see people's colors unless you're like close to them.
That would be interesting
so
too.
If someone's standing on their own, their pack is like rainbow or like deactivated or something like that.
These sound like good party games. Big groups of chaotic people.
Yeah. Oh, are you making an appearance? There he is. There's the top of his head.
There's Buddy. Hello.
Standing all the way up.
You want to hear my answer?
Yeah.
I have always I've always theorized about creating a Space Marine 6. I think the 6th class would be a sniper. I'd want to see a class that has low shield but high shot power of some kind. Now, maybe to make it a little less like in direct competition with SM5, I would just overhaul all the classes and make them all way too complicated. Give every class like 3 or 4 different features, special powers. Make it a lot more like a League of Legends or Overwatch type of game. Where they're all super viable and complicated.
I think it'd be fun if you could pick special abilities.
Like choose your loadout?
Medic. Yeah.
That'd be cool too. Like what type of medic are you playing? I'm running with an aggro medic. I'm running with do you want one extra armor?
Shadow mode.
Shadow mode with missiles. Like that'd be so cool. And like every class could have 2 or 3 or 4 branches. That would be fun. Okay. Hope you're listening, Laserforce. Get on it. If you want to submit a question to one of our guests to answer, leave a comment below. Shout out to the Laserforce players joining the fight against bullying. If you donate to our Patreon, one half of your donation goes towards NAPAB, a nonprofit dedicated to the fight against bullying in schools and communities. All people deserve protection from harassment and abuse, regardless of who they are. All people matter. Give at patreon.com/Mr. Mischief. So, Liz, you are the president of the Laser Tag and Pancakes Club at CU Boulder. Can you tell us a little about how did that even begin?
It all started when I went on the campus tour. It's like the club is something that they talk about. I was like, I like laser tag. I like pancakes. I should probably go meet people my freshman year. So I ended up just going to my first one, really liked it. During that first event, they put out the call. They're like, we're hiring for a leadership position. I was like, you know what? What's the worst thing they can say to little freshman me? And then they ended up picking me, and it's just kind of went out that year with the old crew, and then afterwards I got promoted up from managing our transportation to being the club president. Now I kind of help manage a little bit of everything.
So right away, you were already kind of involved with leadership.
Yep.
The club was started before you got there then? How did the club begin?
I think the club began, I want to say in 2016, 2017. This really cool guy named Frankie had a great idea called, I'm going to go take my friends. We're going to go eat pancakes and play laser tag. And then we're going to get the university to pay for it. And that's what he did. I think it's kind of wild, though. I think when we started, it was probably 10, 15 people going about once a month. And now we have 60 players, 60, 70 people going every other week during the school year.
Every other week. That's amazing. So what's it like? How do you run this club?
Oh, a lot of Google spreadsheets, a lot of spreadsheets. It's quite the effort to get everyone rides because we do have to carpool an hour with 60, 70 kids all the way from Boulder. But we have an awesome community where people will always be like, yeah, I'm down to drive. I'm down to have a little party in my car. Honestly, couldn't do it without those people who are like, yeah, I'm willing to spend all the money on the gas and drive everyone when it's midnight and drop them all off. But it's a lot of spreadsheets. We also do meetings throughout the year. What's going well? What's not going well? We figured out a new hiring schedule, so hopefully we won't get too far behind. Keep people past their graduation. But overall, it's a lot less, I guess, maintenance than one would think because we do meet so infrequently.
Like most Laserforce things, it's made possible on the backs of people who are passionate and willing to spend more money than they really ought to on the sport.
Yep. Also, big shout out to Jeff. He gets us a good rate, so we're able to do, those events every 2 weeks. Versus I think if we were paying the full rate, we probably could do maybe 3/4, 2/3 of the events that we actually end up doing. So it just makes it that much more affordable and accessible to everyone at CU.
That's really cool. So it's like a collaboration. Really, you need the consent of CU Boulder, of course, to pay for it, but also of the management to give a good rate.
Yep. It's also one of the nice things is since I got the job there, I can run our games. I can touch the tablet. If we're having issues, we play our own music, so sometimes you have to pause the music that comes or plays naturally with the game. So that's just been really helpful. Is sort of being that LLT staff plus club leadership bridge.
Tell us about the kind of players that come into a club like this. How long do they tend to stay? What kind of people are they? What games do you like to play?
Well, it really depends. At the start of the year, our first event that we have that's open to everyone, we make it so all of our regulars, people who've come twice, they're not allowed to come unless we need drivers.
Oh my goodness.
It's really wild going from regulars, just the close regulars who are in the area during the summer to 70 freshmen STEM students. They don't know how to talk to people. We're all sitting at IHOP, all of the leadership people, and we're jingle jangle holding our packs of cards. Let's play some card games. Let's talk to each other. I would say it's always quite an amazing transformation going from even this year I've watched some of our people who came at the start of the year, in the middle of the year, and then watching them go from not talking to anyone during the events to now being welcoming in new people and sort of getting newer club members into it. Generally, though, we do have a pretty good retention rate, which is a little shocking. We had to switch over to Discord because I think we have like 1,000 people. 1,000 people on a MailChimp does not work very well. But like with our Discord, we'll get players who will come in like every time. We'll get people who come in like every few months, just depending on their schedule. But it's just super fun seeing people back. I think one of the fun things we've been doing is we've been really pushing our code names, which is helping a lot because you go, come to the club, get yourself a fun little name. So it's super cool to be able to like look up on the leaderboard and see mostly code names and recognize most of them and be like, oh, that person was here last week.
Wow. How did it come about that you would have your experienced players stay back on those first nights? What was the thought process behind that?
The thought process really is that we have that like big club fair at the start of the year, and so we try and get our first event to fall like right after that. Oh, he's getting upset.
Admiral's over there pooping up a storm on the towel. I'm glad I took him off my lap. I count 4 pellets, folks, just to give you an update while Liz is changing that out. Getting Buddy out of the room.
Yeah, he started biting my leg.
Yeah, you don't want that.
Yeah, but like during that first event after the club fair, we always have like so many new people joining our Discord. We're like, all right, we tell them at the fair, we're like, sign up is going out. For the new people, we set it out consistently like at 6 p.m. on a Monday, so they all know if people really want to go, they'll like set alarms. But we just have so much interest at the start of the year because we are like one of the only clubs that's like talked about on the campus tours. So it's like that first sort of like, where do people go to try and make friends in college? It's our club, it feels like. So we go, regulars, you all have friends. Give this one to the new players.
Okay.
And then I'd say
more about connection than letting them meet new people like themselves.
Yeah. We're definitely like one of the more social club than like a competitive club, just because we do have so many players coming in. It's like, you can be competitive, but when you're playing a 30-person like Color Conquest, is it really that competitive? How much of that is luck?
Well, I think this is definitely worth the discussion because as somebody who has been insanely competitive in Laserforce, who is running a podcast trying to make it more like a professional sport, I know I'm salivating at the idea that you have a Discord with 1,000 people that like to play Laserforce, that you bring 60, 70 college-age students every single month to Love on Laser Tag. And I know, and I know you've told me a little bit about how competitiveness can sometimes become a little too much of a priority for some players in the club. I'm just curious, like, how do you balance that? And, you know, has there ever been crossover from the club into other areas of Laserforce?
I'd say we don't have as many like Laserball Space Marines CUers as I would like. Mostly because that is like a really long drive to make on a weekday, especially during the school year. Like, realistically, should I have been driving down for Laserball and Space Marines and club weekends last year? Probably not. But it's like, especially for like all of our upperclassmen, it's like not really a feasible thing for them to do. We have gotten a few more back during the summer because a few of them do live a little further north than Boulder. But I would say overall, in terms of like competitiveness in the club, we have had our issues where it's like some players get really competitive, really enjoy winning. It's like with the regulars, that's less of an issue. But like when we have a mix of totally new players and regulars, then it's sort of iffy. Usually to resolve it, I'll talk with them. I'll be like, hey, make sure we're playing nice. We have a whole lot of new players here. We'll usually like try and play a Highlander for those experienced players at the end of the night where they can like kind of go all out. But if worse comes to worse, usually I'll just go, I'll sit in Fortress and I'll just sit there and try and bully anyone who comes up there.
You're the great guardian angel for the new players.
Yeah. Generally, though, everyone's quite good. I really haven't gotten too many complaints, especially recently. About like, oh, I didn't have fun that game. I was constantly getting like tagged down because usually the newer players are like just like, so whoa, there's a lot of people running around having a good time. I'm gonna have a good time too. And I guess we have such a strong presence of people who are there just for the social aspect that their energy kind of helps carry it when there is like maybe a few players who are sweating really hard that night. It's just like, they shot me a lot. Anyways, let's go play cards.
Yeah, it's convicting, I think, for many of us who are highly competitive, where there's nothing wrong with just going, playing some standard or special game modes, playing some cards, and never going much farther than that. If it's a good time for everybody and it keeps people coming back, like that can be their whole involvement with Laser Force. End of story. It's a great thing. It's a wonderful thing. And as I've gotten to sometimes come in and meet some of your players and play a few rounds of ball with them, I mean they're wonderful. The vibes are really good.
Yeah, I think it helps that we definitely are like a friendship forward sort of space where it's like we go to IHOP first. You'll meet whoever you're playing against there. You'll like make friends. You'll sit with like your 5, 6 people for the night, and then you'll go into laser tag. You'll maybe play some with some different people, but you'll probably play with some of the people you were with in the IHOP. Just get to mess around. Like that's one of the things I worked on. I think has definitely gotten to like a healthy place for me is separating that like competitive Wednesday night from CU's here. I don't need to go 100% in advanced shadows. I can sit there and I can keep missiling Jack and he can keep trying to missile me. And we just sit there and we look at each other and we go, hey, buddy.
Seems like you have a lot of fun too. How do you compare a night with the CU Boulder people to a night of Laserball or a night of Space Marines? Because you do really everything.
I kind of do. I'm all around. I would say it's definitely like a gradient. I feel like CU is like the most social, most chill. We play games like 30-person tag. It's always crazy. And then like Laserball's kind of the middle where you'll like be chatting with people. There's like some trash talk. There's just like some funny moments you'll have in Laserball. And I feel like Space Marines is a little further on the end where the games are a lot more intense. There's a lot more like strategy. I guess you could say more thinking. You definitely get like more dopamine rush, but also you kind of get just like a constant, just like, wow, I'm here. I'm playing laser tag for free because the university is paying for it. Kind of amusement and awe.
I have to imagine that the whole Laser Force scene would be really excited about the idea of more college clubs opening up, even if they don't convert into competitive Laser Force players. Just increasing the amount of people that are playing the special game modes and getting and recognizing that like it takes practice to become good at these games and that it's something you can do more than just once a year at a birthday party. What is it like from the college's perspective? What incentives do they have to open up a club like this?
Really, it's good marketing. It's good publicity. I've like met so many cool people, including someone who like does campus tours as their job for the university. And it's like literally, it's like slated in when you hit this point in the tour, talk about the club. It's like I guess it's like the token fun and funky club because oh, we have things other than like rocket labs and things like that. We have the laser tag and pancakes club. So I guess good press. Also, it's just like good student engagement for them because if they can get their students to interact across colleges too, because we have a lot of engineers, we have a lot of sciences, we have some arts as well, some business. It's just enhances the experience. They can maybe charge a little more.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it seems like it was one of the things that got you to come to the university. Maybe not the only thing, I presume. But how much is it a factor for other students?
It's probably less of a factor for other people. For me, I was like, okay, CSU or CU or like an Ivy school that's out of state. I was like, okay, in state is cheaper. I was like, CSU, I love my mother, but she works at CSU, and I don't exactly want to be walking by her office every day. But I was like, CU has good aerospace. They have a fun and funky club. It was sort of like if I had gone to CSU, it was like, where would I have started? But if I was going to CU, I knew I was going to start with going to that laser tag club, try and meet friends there, branch out from there. It's sort of just like, oh, this seems like a fun and funky thing to try. To sort of a starting point, a jumping off point, if you will, which I feel like is what it is for a lot of our incoming students, especially in the fall.
For sure. Well, what I heard there really is that it's not that you love laser tag, it's just laser tag was a much preferable option to being near your mother. So talk a little about the pancakes. We talk about the laser tag, of course, but like how much does the pancakes play into what makes the club the club?
I think it's honestly like the laser tag is the headliner. So we tell the nerds, laser tag, the university pays. That's what gets them. But I think the pancakes is where a lot of like that good socialization happens. Like especially we spend 2 hours there. We have our membership person call ahead. We've had some issues. We figured it out. The IHOP people are wonderful at the Loveland IHOP to just like be willing to accommodate 67 new college students every other weekend. But we go there. We'll all like sit around at different tables. Usually like drivers will try and sit with their passengers. People will bring around cards to play games with. And I find like that's the place where you sort of start like I guess like getting those new students especially to talk to each other and sort of connect outside of talking about like classwork or like I don't know, I guess in laser tag if you're tagging the other players you're not doing a whole lot of small talk, but the IHOP is where the small talk flourishes and where you sort of build those connections. You also get definitely some unhinged conversations. I do believe there's been a lot of like weird debates. There was one where it was like, if there was a fast food chain that's like not in Boulder that was going to come to Boulder, which one would do the best?
Ooh. What's your answer?
I said Cane's because people were saying Chick-fil-A, and I was like, Chick-fil-A does not agree with Boulder politics, and also they're not open on Sundays or on nights. So,
yeah, I feel like it could be Cane's. Do you have a In-N-Out down there? Feels like In-N-Out might flourish down there.
It might. We have like the 24-hour McDonald's that does pretty well.
My bear died.
Oh no.
There's just a bear back there now. Anyway. Turns out it was cardboard the whole time, guys.
Wow. I would say I don't know. I think that the IHOP is the underrated part. I love getting to see everyone. One of the cool things we do is we have like our membership person. We'll go around, talk to everyone, say hello to everyone, be like, hey, I'm the membership person. If you have any questions, like give the new people like a point of contact for leadership, sort of go around, get to know everyone. I think it's definitely something fun.
I agree. I every time anyone's heard the name Laser Tag and Pancakes Club, people have traditionally just always been like, whoa, that's so cool. And I think the pancakes definitely shift the vibe of what you think the club's going to be about. Because if I just said we have a laser tag club, you probably would still get a lot of excitement, but it kind of makes it sound like it could be very intensely about laser tag.
Yeah.
Or laser tag enthusiasts, not the, a newbie kind of club. Yeah. If it was like a laser tag and military tactics club, you get a very different vibe. But Pancakes makes it seem so fun and casual. I'm sure new players are completely comfortable attending because of that.
Yeah. I'm always excited when we get new players that come back. I'm like, you're back again. We didn't scare you off. But it's always fun. I would say one of the cool things too about having like all of it be college age students is we can run advanced game modes. So like we can do advanced shadows, and then we can do other game modes like Huntsman or other game modes that use missiling, because college students retain information better than 6-year-olds. Even like across events, we'll be like, all right, everyone, do you guys remember how to missile? Yes, wonderful. We're going to play as zombies tonight.
Oh,
I find
awesome.
that CU is like the one group I can consistently run zombies for, because we have players who are like comfortable with missiling, and like even if players aren't, like we have a good enough community where it's like, all right, you're infected. Press and hold your side button. Use that cure.
That is amazing because, yeah, people forget how to missile. We know it's not that hard because we've done it enough times and we get the tactics. But what a freedom that is. What games do you guys like to play the most?
Definitely like the one we run every time. I would say now is Laserball Mayhem.
Can you explain that for the audience?
OG Laserball players, I'm very sorry for what happens, but we play anywhere up to like 38 players in a Laserball game. Use all 3 floors. Each team starts with 1 ball. You have to score both balls to end a round. You can get some insane stat lines those games. I think I've had a few games with 100 blocks.
Oh my goodness.
And it's like 3 goals during the whole 10 minutes.
Let's go.
It's always crazy, especially when you steal the ball on like 3rd floor. It's like as soon as you try going down the ramp, you're just immediately going to get it stolen. But
yeah, no backpacking in that game.
No, those games are always wild and always fun. That's like definitely the fan favorite. We try and run that one most times, if not every time. I'd say another one that we do a lot is Colors.
Mhm.
just because that one is like one that works well with
Color
large
Conquest.
groups, and it also there's so much potential for like funny bits where Jack and I'll chase each other around trying to convert the other one first, or things like that. I love playing tag. It's so
Mhm.
funny. I have a bit where I'll go around and I'll mafia style try and assassinate my fellow members of leadership when I'm it. I'll appear behind him and I'll go, hello. Do do do.
Makes me happy to hear this. One, because we just don't get to play those other amazing game modes enough. And if I had a criticism for a lot of the competitive Laserforce players, it's that they won't play game modes besides their main game mode after they get too deep into it. Now I get like you develop tolerance and you don't get like you mentioned the adrenaline rush and the intensity that comes with SM5, or I imagine for some others like really competitive laser ball. But gosh, I've had such a good time playing Color Conquest. It's a great game mode. It's just infection, you know?
Yeah.
It can be very tactical and fun and low stakes too, but you can still try hard. Ah, and that all these people are capable enough of learning the arena, learning mechanics to play like a good game of zombies, like
Yep.
makes me happy.
It's like we also one of the nice things about working at LLT is I'm able to create custom game modes. So like I've created zombies with fewer teams of survivors, so it's a little less crazy for the survivors.
Mm.
Uh, the one of the games I wanted to play with people was Wedlock, but the issue with Wedlock when you get like above 16 people is like the last 2 minutes is just straight nukes dropping normally because it's not the best that way, especially after the club found out when I got paired with another good player that you can just drop nukes. You don't ever have to break Wedlock if you're with another good player. But I changed Wedlock so the nukes are more expensive than the break now, so it sort of incentivizes that play as the game is intended versus like drop 3 nukes at the end of the game. But it's definitely been super fun being able to do that. I've also made like 2-team Huntsman. Huntsman is usually only free for all, which is only viable for like 15 or so players.
Mm-hmm.
But like when you have 40 players, 2-team Huntsman is pretty viable because you can go, hey, defend me. I'm going to get this base really quick. Get the base. See how it goes.
A long time ago, I did a podcast with Guy Next Door. We talked about building a member base. And in that podcast, we talked about the progression of a Laser Force player. That you obviously you have that first exposure. You show up at a birthday party or with a friend group. You just play. And you're like, whoa, that was cool. Then you got to be able to beat up on the general public, hit those top scores in a standard 2-team game. You start playing a little bit more of these games, like the Huntsman and the Color Conquest, and then you begin to get a taste for the harder games as you get higher up. But this is something we really lack is environments where you can be in kind of that second tier, where like we're just playing all the more advanced than red versus blue, but we're not into like role positions and tactics and call outs and all that stuff. This is really cool.
Yeah. I would say like the biggest thing that contributes to that sort of community that we have is just the way of players returning. Because like red versus blue, if you're coming once, that's generally what you'll play. But if you're returning, even if you're not playing like competitively, like during those nights, you can still gain that experience to the point where we can play the advanced game modes. And I think it's quite interesting, at least with me. Like during Space Marines, I'm like, all right, lock in. We're gonna try and do the best I can. And I'm sort of like, I guess I'm focused on the doing well.
Mm-hmm.
On like my performance versus like on club nights, I'm more focused on the club's performance, making sure everything's running smoothly, seeing if we can maybe sneak an extra game in, something like that. And I think that's sort of like from zooming in on myself to stepping back, being like, I'm here with a bunch of college students. This is crazy. Let's play some laser tag. That's sort of, I just like zooming out puts things in perspective where I'm like, oh, I got like middle of the board in a game. Oh well, I had a silly time. I chased some of my friends around.
I really like that mental reframe that you have.
I think it definitely helps that those nights are so different, though.
Sure, yeah. I have to imagine it helps in Ball and SM5 as well. Which I kind of want to change topics if that's okay. Yeah. As we wrap up this last little bit here, I want to ask you about Internationals 25 and you going and kind of your journey. But to top this off, what can people do to help promote Laserforce in the college scene right now?
I think really it's a lot of it is actually on like the site management. The college students are college students. The clubs will take a little while to get off the ground, but if you could like incentivize college students to come, college students usually want to do something fun. We do a lot of homework. If you can spend like one night every few weeks going out playing laser tag with your friends, that's a pretty good deal. I would say it's also like underrated benefit, especially when you start playing like more frequently and more intensity, is like just like the fitness benefits. I know a lot of college students, a lot of it sitting there doing your math homework for like 3 hours straight. It can be really helpful to like, oh, Friday night is reserved time for me to get up, get moving, go play laser tag, go socialize. I know we have a few people who comment like, dude, I've been sitting down all day doing homework, or this last week's been really hard. So glad I'm just like out, sort of like different space, different environment. School's not touching me here. I think that's one of the cool things we have.
Oh, I love that. Well, very glad for your club. Glad it's been such a success, and thanks for sharing. I hope we can get more clubs out there, and I hope it can become a standard thing, you know? And I'd even, actually, before we finally move on, what is your hope and dream for Laserforce in the college world?
Oh, my dream. I'm really hoping for a Laserforce center closer to Boulder. I think that would make it way more feasible to get like players down, or I guess like out of Boulder for like Laserball nights. I feel like that's generally the progression. You go starting one red blue, and then you start playing games like Shadows, Highlander. Then you start playing Laserball. Then you get into Space Marines. I think it'd be really cool to see like a team of CU Boulder students going and competing at a tournament. And now I don't know if that'll happen. It's a big ask to come on Wednesdays because homework's usually due on Wednesdays. But I think that would be very cool and perhaps a little more achievable if we had laser tag slates closer to Boulder.
I hope so. And I'm also wondering, like, I wonder if we could ever get laser tag to be something that could be competitive between colleges, the way we have college football or basketball. Well, the Boulder team versus CSU. Something like that would be amazing.
That would be awesome. I know Sammy's doing good work to try and get the FRCC laser tag club off the ground. So maybe in a few years, when that's been given some time to grow, we'll get there.
Yeah, we'll see. Okay, Liz, tell us about shirt you're wearing. Nats 24. I got it on the TV just to honor you today. Tell us about Nats 24, and also maybe share how you got thrown into that situation. It's a pretty funny story.
My Nats was a journey. It was a journey for sure. I had like seen the Space Marines posters in LLT for a long time. I was like, maybe I should try that out. Summer, finally off of my like 15 hours of gymnastics a week. I was like, you know what? I have nothing to do until school starts in the fall. I'm going to go do this. I was like, okay, they're doing a member night, middle of June. I was like, what do I have before that? And a week before that, wisdom tooth extraction. So I showed up, still taking a lot of my pain meds. I was very intimidated at first. There was a lot of people I did not know, but like everyone there was so chill. They're like, oh, new player, come play with us. I got my ass beat during numbers night. Mm-hmm. I was so confused about everything. But there were like some players that were super great about it. I remember like Fan was super great about pulling me aside, making sure I was like peeking right so I wasn't doing it blind. That was pretty fun after those 3 days. Come back the next week. I'm just playing some games, and then you come up to me and you go, hey, we had someone drop from our tournament next month. We need a fill. I was like, he's like, do you want to fill? I was like, yeah, sure, I'll do it. Cool, I'm going to pass your information on to Stu. I get a text while I'm working the next morning from Stu. Glad to have you on the team for Nats. And I go, oh boy, here we go. Tried to practice. We had a few weeks where we did not do any Space Marines, which was a little unfortunate. I think I went back and I counted it like after the tournament. I think I had like some 20, 30 games of Space Marines before we started tournament play, which was a little crazy. Nats was certainly a journey. I did a lot of getting shot. So much getting shot. Mm-hmm. Especially after like the first day was rough. Then I sort of showed Stu around the first floor, all the places I was like, this would probably be a good resupply spot. It's pretty, like, the sightlines into it are pretty limited. And then that second day we really started to do well, especially as a resupply duo. I remember We had like a game against Syracuse where it's like I lived on 3 for so incredibly long when I shouldn't have. Our team kept coming back for resupplies. They're like, I'm full. I was like, on lives or shots? And I was like, they're like, both. And I'm like, then what are you doing here? And that made my heart full a little bit. I was like, okay, my team's full. And then they dropped a nuke, and I died out. And but we lived that game. That was one of the games where we had a 1 survivor, which was pretty cool.
Goodness. One of the only non-elims of the tournament, honestly. I'm trying to pull up something here, just to maybe provide a little comfort or context to you. Loveland has the highest elim rate out of all sites at least out of sites played in the last 14 years, 10 years with any tournament. And you as the medic always traditionally got to be the first one out. And I remember you trying to increase your survival time each game.
Yep. I think I made it up to about 7 minutes that game. And then I was like, you know what? My teammates might live. And sure enough, one of them did.
Well, I want to, I've told you this in private too, but I want to publicly proclaim my respect for you, that you were willing to step in on a team that you had no context, no idea what it was going to be. And you also, it's not an easy thing to get 0 pointed. I can't actually say that I've gotten 0 pointed in my career, thankfully. Because just getting 10 pointed sucked. It sucks to lose. But you came out with a sportsmanship trophy, even a good attitude all week long, and being there for your team. I guess, what was your takeaway after the tournament? How did it affect your view of SM5?
I feel like a lot of players are like, I need a break usually after Nats. I was just like very invigorated. I know like the week after Nats, I brought a lot of CUers in because that was the week where we had like moved in, but we hadn't started classes yet. And that was super cool to see a bunch of CU students trying out Space Marines. I did get my revenge on the first game. I did play Commander, and I think I did do some war crimes against my fellow college students, but then I chilled out, so it was fine.
Just take some anger out real quick.
Yep. I got to get all those medic kits back. I would say though, like the biggest thing that helped me during that tournament was like I came in, I knew I was on like a weaker team, I was a newer player, and I just like decided from the get go, I'm like, all right, I have set my expectations to be that it's going to be an ass whooping every time. And so when I was seeing those like improvements, I was improving. But from where I had centered my reference, which was like down at the bottom, I was like, hey, we're going up versus setting my bar too high and still being below the bar.
Yeah. Yeah, you absolutely did go up, but it's so hard to see that when you're still not winning games, not getting over the hump. But there were definitely a lot of close games. And I have been in that spot where people would be like, oh, you were doing so well, or you were winning for the first half of the game, and then you lost it. And I just wanted to punch those people in the face. Like, shut up. I don't want to hear it. I'm trying to do better. But you really were improving. It's just it's a way people try to tell you the truth.
Yeah. I would say definitely like one of my favorite games from Nats was in like our second match against Syracuse.
Yeah.
When we had been elim the first time. It was like, okay, we're behind by like some 32,000 points. We're not winning this match. And then we had a really funny idea. And so Beans and Reyes stood there and pointed at members of the other team and said, you're going to play Commander. You're going to play the medic. And we drafted each other's lineups. That was definitely one of the fun games. Also the fact that I got to play Scout that game.
Ooh, yes, you got to break out of the medic role. That was the other thing I had respect for, was like your team. It was a very low ranked team, and you were going to be playing the medic role, which means you had a real duty to your team, and you couldn't go out on the field quite as much. I mean, what was that like for you?
It was a lot of running upstairs, immediately running back downstairs, filling up our heavy, and then filling up everyone else who came back before I eventually died out, just taking like chip damage.
We'll be back with the podcast in just a moment. Wanted to take a quick ad break to just let you know, please support the channel to join the fight against bullying and support our sponsors, relicsmerch.com, to get some awesome Laserforce swag. And with that, we'll be right back to the podcast. Thank you for listening.
I will say at the end of the tournament, though, it was like that last game against Loveland A during finals. It was kind of silly. I do remember that scorecard because I was watching all the games back. I think G&D was quite shocked because I think I was like top scoring my team for most of that game, just because teammates weren't finding much success elsewhere, and you guys were just sending like scouts downstairs, and we had the resupply set up where I just like, oh, green light's coming through, shoot him. Oh look, that was Bromley.
So you are one of our three Pookies, as we're calling them. Between you, the Babe, and Sabo?
Yeah.
Sabo. You all began as Laserball players and then transitioned to becoming Space Marine players. And you've all been sort of a really cool social experiment for me to just see how do Laserball players look at the game of SM5 differently? How do they enter into it? That seemed like one of the ways is like you were really good at the Laserball angles on the first floor where you guys play. But can you speak to that a little bit? What was it like going from Laserball to SM5?
I think it was definitely a little bit of a rough transition, especially like trying to figure out how the third and second floor play and interact. I would say generally though, like during those like when we were starting to do practice games, testing out lineups, those games where it'd be like me and Gabe on scout, we'd figured out how to play second floor. And then the moment we could go down to first floor, we both kind of had that experience and that knowledge of like where do we like to play on first floor to where we could run loops through the other team. I think I remember one game where we like really effectively kept putting down the resupplies and we had like a really fast elim considering our team was like the Pookies and some other newer players. It was like should not have been an elim for us, but it was somehow just because we pushed them down and then we kept them down. I think that's one of my peak scout moments was just running through there with Gabe over and over.
That's a fun feeling when it's hunting time essentially.
Yeah, I would say Laserball, like especially I feel like one of the skills that the Space Marines don't nearly have as much. Laserball is a lot of moving fast, reacting fast. One of the things you learn how to do is like read the glows. So like generally I can, before I'll go into like try and dive a resupply, I can usually tell like where players are kind of set up. I can try and find like weird angles onto them, try and take out people one at a time. Or like I played a lot of medic. I'm like, okay, this is how I'd set up my resupply. It's kind of what I found that works through trial and error. And I'll just kind of aim for the spot where I'm like, I think a resupply is going to be sitting right here. Versus like trying to fight like the heavy or something that's standing guard.
Yeah. Something I've noticed is that you've all advanced really quick from my perspective. Some of the early stages that people normally go through in SM5 comes because they haven't really played any other special game mode. I hope they would have spent some time just in the members' nights, the Friday night, playing some shadows, playing some colors. And then there's so much of a jump. It feels like Laserball mitigates a lot of that jump you gotta make. The team game, there's coordination, communication, speed.
Yeah. I would say communication is something that's like prioritized a little less. So like just because of that, sometimes I do wish there's more communication. But like in the absence of communication, you get really good at figuring out what's going on around you. So like you'll listen to the other team's call outs too. Be like, okay, ball's over here, someone shouted from this area. All right, I have a pretty good idea of where things are set up. Laserball is definitely, it's that fast sort of like shoot better, I guess, versus Space Marines is a lot more shoot smarter, manage your resources. I feel like
that's a great way to put it.
It teaches you a lot about the micro, about how to take a fight and win a fight or give yourself the advantage in fights. Because like I know when I play Scout a lot, I'm usually not going to take a fight that I know I'm not going to win. I'll wait for someone to look away, or I'll try and find a slightly different angle than the one I've been popping out of. And I feel like it's helped me a lot to not burn through resources as fast.
Interesting. Yeah, I really like the way you said that. SM5 is shooting smarter and Laserball is shooting faster. Has SM5 changed the way that you play Laserball at all?
I think it definitely has. I definitely go, oh, where was the communication? A little bit more now. There's a little bit more frustration about that. But I would say also just in terms of like general awareness, have I seen that player in a while? Sort of like learning how to, where are they hanging out? All right, I'm going to go try and deal with that. Oh, they've been running goals in through here. I'm going to try and go stand over here, control that area a little more. Things like that are affecting like the macro. One of the strategies I found for laser balls, I'll go stand at the end of pencil. It's not like the most flashy sort of thing, but it's just the fights where people are trying to shoot into pencil. It's such a hard shot to hit usually.
Mm-hmm.
It's just incredible value. And even if someone does take pencil from me, I can just stand there and force them to find a reset. I know I've upset Bradley a few times with that one, where I'll be standing there and he'll be panicking for 7 seconds, going, I need another gun, I need to shoot something else, while I'm just sitting there going, pulling on the trigger, waiting to come back up.
It's cool to hear. It's cool to hear that it's affected you.
It's definitely a maximum reward for minimum effort laser ball strategy. I walk over to pencil and then I stand in pencil until the round ends.
Well, I love maximum reward, minimum effort in just about anything. Like that's how you should play all the game modes. Let's see. Okay, with that said, have you heard, I wanted to ask you, have you heard about the laser ball scene in Europe?
I've heard a little bit. I've heard that they do a lot more laser ball than they do here in the States. Although I know Gabe has been talking with like the Syracuse site management and site heads about it. Maybe something if we do end up going to Europe for a tournament, go around, play some laser ball. I just want to see how the other arenas are. I want to see how they play. I want to find my pencil there.
It would be really cool to go. It's, from what I understand, it's about 10 times the size of our SM5 scene. Maybe it's 5 times, maybe it's 50 times. I'm not really sure. It's a lot bigger. And they run tournaments like every month. And they're jam-packed tournaments. So I just wanted you to know that, and or to see if you knew about that, and ask if you'd ever go out to play in a laser ball tournament.
Maybe when I get my big boy aerospace job.
You can just fly like a rocket over there.
Missed opportunity when I was in Berlin for study abroad, but I think we're probably going to need an adult job to go to Europe.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, as of right now, life circumstances heavily impact the way a player can be part of the community. At least to be in person at things. Now, speaking of going in person and traveling across the country. Sorry, was there anything else you wanted to say on laser ball there?
No, I think we covered it all.
Internationals 2025. You're heading out to Brisbane, Australia, playing for the Loveland Curveballs.
Yep.
Tell us a little about that.
It's been a little bit of a wild journey with people adding and dropping. We managed to like lock in 5 of us that were going, and we're like, okay, we're just gonna call this our 6. We're gonna let Josiah and John and Joe try and FOMO people into playing with them, and we're gonna let all of our newer players just go out, play, and learn. Mm-hmm. I'm very excited. I have a feeling it's gonna be a lot of getting my ass smashed again. But I don't think it'll be as bad as last year. I'm hoping for 1 point.
I was going to ask you about your expectations, maybe your hopes for what you think your team could do. What's your mentality going in?
I think there's a lot of optimism where it's like, at our best, we could stand up to some of like those other like lower tier Australia sort of teams. But I think I'm going to go with like a similar approach to last year. I'm like, all right, if we win, wonderful. If we lose, probably expected. I think Australia's A is gonna clap us really hard. But we'll see. My goal is just to play, maybe a little bit of something else, maybe a little bit of medic. See what's in the cards. See how our people play in the arena. Because it is very different to Loveland's arena. But
yeah, how are you guys managing that difference and not knowing what it's like in Brisbane?
We've been watching a lot of VODs. The babe gave me some homework. Go watch some of those videos from the arena. Try and like trace out where the player is. It's definitely helped sort of like how are things structured? What sidelines are they holding? That's definitely helped. I think realistically though, it's like we're not going to know how we all play in the arena till we're there playing in the arena. I know our team is getting there a little bit early. We're probably going to try and go in, play some just like regular public games, see what's happening, see what it's all like, and then play in all those practice nights to try and nail down a lineup, see whose play style fits which role. I know Loveland favors definitely like an aggressive heavy usually, but like Brisbane is more of a defense heavy, so that might change where our lineup ends up.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is that's advanced for you guys, just being rookies coming in. It's tough for me to listen to some of the commentary about Nats and hear Loveland basically get no credit whatsoever. To be fair, like, you're mostly all rookies again. And there are a lot of really good teams coming in. We don't have many other teams that are full rookies coming in, except for that zone team. And Taipan's recommendation of them is pretty glowing. Like, they could be pretty good. But I'm sitting here watching you guys practice every week. I see how talented you are. I see how much you're preparing for this, and I definitely like to hope that you guys will go in and surprise some people.
Yeah, I think we may pull some funky things out. You've seen some of our silly things we've done during our practice games that have worked really well. That because they worked well, we're probably going to keep doing.
Yeah, you are silly geese for sure.
Silly geese. We're gonna do all sorts of weird things, all sorts of Laserball and type things.
Yeah. What are you most excited for out there in Brisbane, even if it's outside of the tournament?
I really am excited to go see the Steve Irwin Zoo. I love zoos. I love seeing all the little animals. It's just very fun. I'd say I'm also definitely excited to like see people again. Be like, hey, look at this character development. I'm actually not 30 games in now. I think like 300 or something now. So
literally 10 times.
Hopefully this tournament will go better, and I'll be able to put up a little bit more of a fight. But we'll see how we do.
Which team are you most interested to see how they're gonna do in Nats? Besides your own team. I kind of want to see how the other U.S. teams do. I really want to see how U.S. East does, because I've heard that like Scythe and Baden are back. I've heard that they are amazing players. I feel like I just want to see it in action. I also do want to see the fabled little low Rusty run. Oh, Rusty runs. He runs fast. Yeah. If I can old man reminisce, it was really cool. It is really cool to see other players play. You realize that there are strategies, shots, and body positionings that you've never even thought of trying before, and you can kind of like soak in what people do and try to imitate them a little bit. When Nats came to Loveland in 2015, we were still resupplying by going 1-2 shoot. We had no idea you could double without talking to each other. It was the craziest thing. That's pretty basic. But yeah, I think you're going to soak up a lot of tactics. I think you'd especially like the way Scythe plays. He tends to use his speed and stealth a lot. I think you do as well.
Yeah, I do tend to be a little ratty. Gonna be wearing hopefully not a bright orange shirt this time, so that may help.
You could do it just for the challenge.
Just for the challenge factor. As long as I don't get friendlied out.
Oh, hey, your interview's playing behind me.
Yo.
Screen's blurred out a little bit.
Fact is that I ran the club.
Yeah, absolutely. That was your fun fact. And you had 4 times more Laserball games than SM5 games, and you were playing in 6 Dungeons and Dragons campaigns.
Yeah, some of those meet not quite as frequently now. But I have hopes to meet some more, especially once we're back in Boulder.
Gosh. I don't have too much else to ask you. I'm really excited for you going out to the tournament, and it just seems like you've made such a jump from the first Nats with almost no experience to this one. Can you tell us a little bit about your teammates? What can people expect or look forward to that you're willing to share out of the Loveland Curveballs?
I think that they can expect the unexpected. we didn't know what our lineup was. We're still doing last minute like lineup changes. Let's try this out. Let's try this out. I think one of the things that I'm most excited about is just like going out, playing with my friends. We go see movies together. We're just gonna go out, learn, have a good time, play some laser tag. I think it is slightly amusing though that all the teenagers got put onto a team together. So I think we're a little bit younger than most of the other teams that are going. I think that'll be very funny.
Let's see. I can find out at least what the average year that you all started on was. I'm doing a power ranking show coming up in a few weeks. Look forward to that, people in the chat. Your team. Well, that's not going to work. It's okay because I'm missing one. That you all began playing in 1681. That's not right.
Yep, that's how long we've been playing.
On average, your team began playing in 2020, and
Yeah.
that might be the lowest out of every team, or that might be the newest out of every team. We got 1999, 2005, 2007, 2001. I mean, really, this is a special tournament to be part of because of how many like legacy players are coming out of retirement to be in it. Okay, well, the Zone team, they mostly began, I did stalk all of their membership cards, they also began in 2020. But even they, on average, began later than you guys. So yeah, you're the newest team. Crazy.
Woo.
Youngest.
Yeah, I would say I'm definitely excited to like meet all of those legacy players. I've heard many a tale from like you and Josiah about like playing against Scythe or playing against like Taipan or Rusty, and I want to meet the legends.
Yeah, I would say so. This is definitely like the tournament to be at. And also a kind of a lack of the newer players that we've gotten in the community. It's really just you guys. So joke's on them. You're going to come back from this just absolutely cracked at laser tag.
That's the dream. I'll say I'm also gotta give credit to like all of like the experienced leveling players. They've been helping a lot with our team, sort of like giving pointers. You've been giving us a lot of good advice, like the post practice game videos where it's like, this is what maybe went wrong. This is maybe something you should try next time. Those have been really helpful. We have our little team meetings. We go, all right, what did we think about Luke's thoughts? And we go, oh, yeah, he was right. We totally should have played that differently.
I don't know everything, but I've been around. And I so want to see you guys. I'm going to use the exact words of the resupply. I really want to see you guys do well, you know? Which to say it less diplomatically, I want to see you beat teams that doubt you. I just want to see you guys place a little higher or take games off of people that are total upsets. That'd be really cool. And it's part of my dream to someday be able to go to a Laserforce tournament and coach a team, not even play. So I love this stuff, and I'm thankful that you all want my help.
Yeah, I'm very excited. I think it would be very funny if we did pull off an upset. It's the teenagers coming in. Mm-hmm. It's the little babies coming in, throwing fists.
It's true.
That's the dream.
You got the talent to do it. You really do. Just gotta have a good opening game, and you gotta have a good mid game, and then you also need to have a good end game. That's how you do it.
Yep, just gotta be good. Get good. In the wise words.
Mm-hmm. Just gotta get good. We're all doing it.
Yeah.
Well, do you have any final thoughts before we wrap up our show today?
Oh, that's a good question. I would say if any of you guys are opening up Laserforce sites, you should do it near college because college students could be a pretty consistent market for some late night laser tag.
If you were a site owner, how would you want to go about creating a relationship with a local college?
I think the biggest thing is just like start by getting people in the door. Like we got CU students at the door with Frankie because Frankie liked laser tag, knew about LT, started bringing his friends, and then sort of like once we we had that relationship going with Jeff, we started getting a good discount, a good price. That was easier to take to university and go, hey, can you give us a little bit of money? We're going to pay for this event. It's going to be this much per person. The universities really do tend to like numbers, and they like getting good deals. So if you can take things to them with this is how much it's going to be per person. This is what we get. This is the normal rate. See, we're getting a good deal. You should give us money for this.
Is it a good deal for the site?
Generally, yes. It's usually like not too busy on Saturday nights during like the school year. So I'm assuming it's nice for Jeff that he can have 60 people in the door paying $15 per event, guaranteed every other weekend during the school year.
That's fair. Just some guaranteed income. See that?
Yep, we send our little check to Jeff. I'm assuming it's a fairly decent deal for him.
Absolutely. Well, awesome. Anything that we can plug for you today?
If you're a college student, come to CU Boulder. Come join the Laser Tag Pancakes Club.
Yeah.
If you're from CU and listening, come to Space Marines. Come to Laserball. Play more laser tag.
Absolutely. Like literally, if you're thinking about going to college, you could be part of this awesome community only at CU Boulder. But hopefully not only for long.
Hopefully we'll have more.
Please support our show and the fight against bullying by giving to our Patreon. If you want to be part of our Laserforce community, join the LF Tournament Discord and look to attend a Laserforce tournament event near you, or far away from you, even better. If you want to be a guest on this podcast, find one of our episodes under the podcast forum and leave a comment. That's game over, everybody. We'll see you in the next episode. Admiral says goodbye.
Buddy left. He says goodbye too, though.
Thanks for coming on, Liz. It was great to see you.
Good to see you, too.
All right, see you tonight for tag.
Yeah!
Thank you for listening to ForceProSports. Subscribe to the channel and get cool perks by supporting our Patreon. Play Laserforce and become part of this era's next great sport.